Sandra here from createyourfuture.co. So today we have Ani joining us. Hi, Ani.
Hi, guys.
Hey guys, so we have a really exciting success story. So one of Ani's clients basically got her man back, and he said everything that she intended he would say, plus she got more, and he was texting her like crazy, and she actually had to say, we've got to talk later. So there's some really great stuff in this success story. So like usual, guys, we're going to read through the story, and then we're going to give you some tips how you can create this in your life. Now, remember, when you are listening to the story, watch your mental self-talk. Say things like, you know what, if it can happen for them, it can happen for me. I'm going to be next. This is a sign that it's going to happen in my reality. Start creating assumptions that this is going to get you closer to what you are creating, because, you know, your self-talk, no matter what you're going through the day about your situation, is going to make or break your, you know, whether or not you reach your goal. So definitely keep an eye on your self-talk during this time. So awesome. Welcome, Ani. Excited to hear the
Yes.
story.
Thanks for having me. Okay, here we go. I'm writing this email for Ani. Ani, you will be so happy to hear that I had my level 1 success story. Thank you for making me reach out to him, even though I was worried what he was going to say. Although I was doing my intentions, but I was also worried about the outcome. I will be honest with you. I was stalling to text him for a week after our session, but the day I texted him, I was like, uh, you have stalled enough. You are the creator. Do your intentions and just reach out. He's only going to say what your intentions are. And if not, it's just take it as feedback and change it. So with that thought, I reached out, and guess what? He showed me my intentions. He said that he always thought about me and wished he could talk to me just once. But since I removed him from every possible source, he thought maybe I was not interested. He also said that he recalls our moments together, and he was very happy to see my message. I cannot believe that he said all those things. Even after more than a year, he feels that way. Those were my intentions. I got more than my intentions. He couldn't stop messaging me, and I was the one who asked him to continue talking later. This girl's got to do stuff other than talking to him all day, right? This was a bonus for me. Him talking and sharing with me so much. It was like our relationship had been on pause and it picked up from just where we left it. I know that we love each other no matter what. No power in the world is more powerful than my thoughts. I know I will reach my level 2 success, and nothing can stop that from happening. I feel so confident with myself now than when I first booked my session with you. I have seen and felt the change in me with each session. I have become more and more confident in creating. Thank you again, Ani, for believing in me when I didn't believe in myself, for being patient when I was spiraling down with my negative thoughts, what ifs, for always being there for me and putting up with my limiting thoughts, for showing me a way out when I felt like there was no hope, and for being the only person who said yes when everyone said no. I hope someone finds this helpful and feels inspired to change their situation as well. Yay!
That's so amazing. I love it. I love it. You know, I mean, she's hit on so many important points in there. You know, I this, and I love the fact that, you know what, she's doing this in stages, you know, and it's the small successes that she is actually, celebrating. You know, I know it's like, okay, the end goal is marriage, right? You know, and that's the end. But
Yeah.
there are so many little ends in between, you know, meeting someone and being interested in dating them to getting to that marriage. And it's about taking each one of those steps as an end in its own, right? To deal with our own resistance and our own blocks and our own limiting beliefs that we have, you know, between here and there. You know what I mean? It's like so amazing. Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. And we worked in steps because when we started, like most clients, they have no belief or hope that they will get to their desired result, you know? So, like you said, it's not easy to think of marriage when you're not communicating with that person. All you're thinking is, how will I even talk to this person right now? We haven't talked in all these months and years. So that's why she was mentioning level 1 success and level 2 success, because we're working in steps. Um,
Mm-hmm.
Now that she has communication, which is great, it's so much more easier to think about commitment and moving in together, or going out on dates every night. It's so much easier for your logic and your brain to grasp that.
Hmm. Oh yeah, absolutely, absolutely. And the other thing, you know what, that I wanted to point out here is time didn't matter. Like it was over a year. It could be 10 years. It could be
Yeah.
30 years. It could be 2 days. It really doesn't matter. You've got to use whatever circumstance you have to your advantage. So if it's been a year, you can basically say, well, it's been long enough that everyone's totally over the past and forgives. You know what I mean? Or if it hasn't been that long, you can always use that as, basically saying, well, of course he's going to forgive me. It's not that big of a deal. He still loves me because it hasn't been that long. You've got to use whatever circumstance you have to your advantage, whether it's 2 days, 30 years, right? But you've always got to do that,
Yeah.
right? I think that was really great. Now, let's talk about the reaching out part, because I know there's a lot of people that were watching going, well, I don't want to reach out. I'm not going to do that
Yeah.
first. Okay, so let's talk about why you how to do that and what the logic behind that is. And because we don't want people reaching out if they're stuck in a rejection story, because they're only going to create more rejection, right? So
Yes. So we did mental diet and intentions, and we had a few sessions, and I noticed her growth in those few sessions. It went from no hope, total resentment, I'm not going to reach out, I'm not going to talk to him because he needs to come after me and I feel hurt, to, well, my intentions and affirmations and mental diet feel so real. Like, and I know everyone's you pushed out, because all this time I've been seeing small, evidence here and there that I think something and it pops up in my reality. So I understand that. um Let me just try it out. It'll be feedback. If anything, it'll be feedback. So it changed from total resentment to everyone's being pushed out. There can't be resentment, you know? And
exactly.
there is a little bit of fear when you haven't talked to a person for that long. Yes, there is that fear with what if this, what if that? But that's why you go in with mental diet and intentions. After,
Mm-hmm.
like, day after day, you condition yourself, you discipline yourself, and that work pays off. You don't see that work paying off, but the universe is orchestrating everything according to that mental diet that you have, you know.
Yeah, yeah. You know what? And you nailed it. When you feel your intentions are so real and so comfortable that you're just like, why haven't I reached out yet? Like, this is silly that I haven't. At that moment, you don't even need to reach out. They will reach out to you. But at that point, you're no longer worried about reaching out. You're like, oh, they're totally going to be happy to hear from me, right? The thing is, right, if we're going to live from the end of being in a committed relationship with a person, that means that you feel comfortable reaching out to them. And that opens the door for them to reach out to you as well. So if you're having anxiety and you're worried about reaching out to them, then you're not living from the end of being in a relationship with them. And so you're living from the end of rejection. So yeah, you've definitely, I mean, if you're feeling scared and worried, don't reach out to them. You're only going to create more rejection. Like, we're not
Yeah.
saying run into a wall here and, get more rejection coming your way, because you're putting out, if you got resentment and hurt, you're going to get more of that back, right? So yeah, so we want to, create more intentions around that before we reach out to do it. Well said, Ani, well said for that. So the other thing
Yes.
that I wanted to talk about is creating intentions from, and seeing what you're going to see, hear, and feel, because I feel like so often, people say, well, I intend, he makes me a priority, and then we leave it at that. And yet we still complain that they never call us every day, or they never drop their plans for us, because we're not actually creating those little things. So yeah, they create what you're going to see, hear, and feel. Like, what's a priority? What does it look like? What does it sound like, right?
Yes,
Mm.
I always ask my clients to attach a feeling. So happiness, excited, and action based intentions. So you can be writing, he misses me, he's thinking about me. But don't you want to see that he's thinking about you and he misses you, So I would intend that he reaches out to me because he misses me so much. Or he compliments me. He asks me out on dates. He's pursuing me. Every time I reach for my phone, I see a phone call from him. So for some people, that's what pursuing feels like, right? Like you look at your phone, you see missed calls, you're like, wow, like he was thinking about me, he reached out to me, like I'm always on his mind. But make it like action based. So what actions would be taken if he was pursuing you? What actions would be taken if you were on his mind constantly? Things like that. Because I can't tell you how many times I've heard clients say, I keep saying like I'm on his mind 24/7. That's what I keep affirming. And then, but he's not reaching out. In 10, he's reaching out. In 10,
Right?
he's reaching out. Yeah.
Exactly. You know what? I've complained. Oh, you know what? So and so doesn't call me ever. I intend they appreciate me, right? You know, I'm like, oh, I intend they never call me. They don't appreciate me. Then I'm like, well, I intend they appreciate me. Well, then what happens is they turn around, they're like, I appreciate you, but they still don't call me.
Yeah.
Because again, you know, it's about creating what are you going to see, hear, and feel with the appreciation? What does it mean to you, right? Because you know what, I way back when I was younger, you know, I would I like, you know, when, you know, people would nag me, you know, and be like, oh, they're only nagging you because, you know, they care about you. So now my brain related nagging and caring together. Okay. And then what ended up happening is sure enough, I'd be like, well, I intend so and so cares about me. And then that would come in the way of nagging. And I'd be like, oh, stop nagging me. They're like, what? I care about you. And I'd be like, oh, of course you do. Of course you do. Right. So, you know, start redefining what caring means. Start redefining what making you a priority means. And do that, like with Ani said, is what are you going to see, hear, and feel in there? You know, start really getting into those details. You know, it's you're the creator of your life. Now, you don't always have to do details, but the more resistance you have and the more negative story you have, do more detail on those to rewrite your story, because your brain is going to keep things all stored in there nicely for you, going, well, you created this a few years ago and, you know, it manifested, and yeah, it's still there until you revisit and change me. So, you know, if you're creating something new, you may not need to put as much detail in when you don't have as much, you know, previous story. But when you've got a lot of previous story to work through, it's exactly that. Working through it means acknowledging it and then renouncing it. Renouncing it meaning changing it into a positive for you, rewriting the story in that way, right? Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
I also want to mention there's always like a perspective on I've been doing my intentions for so long and I don't see any movement. That is an assumption right there. You don't see any movement, but you don't know what is orchestrated behind the scenes. I have talked to so many clients that when they did get into communication with SP, or when their SP did like proclaim all his love to her, she asked, a lot of my clients ask, so what made you come to me? Or what made you, you know, like say all these things now? Most of the time the SP says, well, it's been a few weeks now that I feel like that. So, you know, you have to keep persisting because you have no idea.
Right. And the other thing is, right, is like, I've been doing it, but I see no movement. So now the universe has to block all movement from you. So you have to say, look, I see movement all the time. I constantly see my manifestations show up. You've got to watch these little statements that you create, because if you're like, well, I just don't see it working, then guess what? The universe has to be like, hide it from her. She does not want to see it working. Do not show her any inkling that her intentions are manifesting, because she is now declared that she does not want to see them. Right? Like, this, your wish is my command. We really have to watch our self-talk through every moment when we comes to a situation that we have, right? Like, so incredibly important. So incredibly important. Amazing. Your clients get so many amazing results from you. Like, oh my goodness, like amazing.
Yes, I'm so happy for him. I'm so happy, you guys. Like, when we get a success story, like it just makes my day, because even when the client sees all that work you guys put in to discipline your mind and that mental diet, and you see the results, that's just, it's everything.
Guys, we are powerful people. All of us are. And, you know, honestly, this whole entire group of coaches here at Create Your Future, and myself included, is what we want is we want you guys to be successful. We have the power to do this, and we want to do this. This is why we get up every single morning and collectively come together as a group and share this knowledge with you, is because we want everyone to be happy. We're happy. We have great relationships. We want you to have great relationships. And it's easy, and we can show you how to do it. And all of our videos, you can watch all of those and figure out how to do it, or you can sign up for coaching with Ani because she's amazing. The link is in the description below. Absolutely. Thank you so much for being here today, Ani.
Thank you for having me.
And guys, if you would like to ask me, Amanda, any questions, video suggestions, anything like that, please go on over to the Patreon, and you can post your questions there. I answer them on the YouTube lives, and yeah, and any video ideas you have, you can post them over there as well, and we'll consider making a video on them. Yeah, so, and thank you guys for liking, commenting, sharing, and subscribing, and we'll see you in the next video. Bye-bye.